Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today we're going to have a very special episode, a debrief from my trip with the IJF. But before we get started, as usual, thank you very much to our sponsors, Jason, Levon, David. Those are our independent sponsors. You too can sponsor us by clicking the link to the Patreon. We'll give you guys a shout out. Yeah. You guys could give us suggestions, join a Discord chat group, all that stuff. Right, Peter?
Yeah,
you want to give them a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have different tiers, obviously. Every tier gets, as soon as you decide to sponsor it, you get to join our Discord server, talk, chat with other grapplers around the country and the world. We have some folks in China too. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Come and check us out. Support us if you can. And this episode, actually, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people wanted to hear about what happened in Georgia and Turkey. But it was also a suggestion from our Patreons, Daniel. So he specifically wanted to know what your take on the whole event was, and then who and what impressed you most, and your surprises and common trends that you observed, things of that nature. So we'll kind of hit everything.
Yep, we'll do it. All right, let's close the window here. It's so loud in New York City.
Yeah. All right, so just let's start with this. Not everyone knows what happened, what you did. So what happened?
Okay, so the IJF has the World Tour. Used to be, it was like World Cups, Grand Prix, Grand Slams, etc., etc. Now, the old World Cups are Continental Opens, run by the Continental Unions, European Judo Union, Pan American Judo Union, etc., Asian Judo Union. So now, anything above Grand Prix, Grand Slam, and above are all IJF World Tour events. Grand Prix, Grand Slam, and they have the World Masters. Not like the veterans, like Age Group one, but the top 16 in the world come and they do a special tournament. Right? And then you have the World Championships and the Olympics. That's it. So they have the World Tour now, and it's in these select locations, and they're putting tons and tons of money and resources into building this thing for it to be very, very spectator friendly. And you could follow international high-level elite judo through the IJF on judotv.com. You can use discount code Shintaro. And I'm not just saying this as a plug to my thing, but it's a whole thing now. It's an amazing, amazing sporting event. It's a whole spectacular thing. It's like the NFL or the NBA.
I would even say that's like golf and tennis too. They have the tour. All the pros like get the tour card and then go around the world and play, and then it gets broadcasted around the world. And they put all these protocols in place. So now you have to go through your country, right? So U.S. Judo, you apply with them, and they take care of everything, and they have to purchase everything from the IJF. It's all connected. It's super professional. All of it. Right. So that's the event you went. And then there was a Grand Slam in Georgia. 2
Grand Slams
and Turkey, right?
Yeah,
Georgia, the country, guys, not the state. And Turkey, I think now we gotta call it Turkey, right?
Turkey, they changed their name of the country.
So Turkey and Georgia. So what did you go there for? Did you go there to compete?
No, I'm way beyond that. I'm so old. But they called me to commentate.
Yeah, that's so cool.
The event. So it was really, really amazing. Like, I go in there, there's like a sort of a media booth, right? And there's like 10 people working in that section from Fighting Films who've been contracted this job. They're doing social media. They're making videos. They have the instant replays on the Jumbotron. They're doing instant replays for the referees for referees review. The whole thing. There's like a huge media van outside. I'm not even talking like a van. It's like a massive, massive media truck that they drive around in. There's 2 of them, right? And they alternate from location to location. And there's probably like 20 people on the media team, and I'm part of that, sitting in this special little booth overlooking the tournament area. And you have all the matches going, and then you're just commentating for the audience.
And you're like next to other commentators like the famous, legendary Neil Adams.
And then, Franco, right? He's amazing. Sheldon Franco Rooks. He's like a OG commentator, I actually thought him and Neil were sort of the same guy. Because, it's just one British voice, right?
Oh, actually, I didn't know. Two British guys. I see. So, and then I know you went there to get some training, right? For I mean, you can't just go on, right? Like, what kind of training did you receive?
Well, so, Sheldon was supposed to fill me in on all the details and things like this, but the first event, I only did the prelim matches.
I see.
Yeah, the preliminary matches. I didn't do the final block. And then the second event that I went to, Neil wasn't doing that event, so it was me and Sheldon, and we did the whole day, prelims and the final block. And there was a little bit of a learning curve, but, Sheldon kind of gave me the rundown, like, hey, I'm going to be announcing, I'm going to be calling sort of play-by-play stuff. You give your expert opinion, expert analysis. That's much easier.
I see.
And he has this like really deep judo knowledge of like the people who, I'll tell you this, man. He like named every single world champion and Olympic champion from 81 kilograms, right, for the last since 2000.
He applied like from off the top of his head.
Off the top of his head, and then I go, I bet you can't do that for 78 plus women's category. He goes, I bet you I can, and did it.
That's impressive.
So he's sitting there, and he's a professional announcer, right? He does music, specialty award presentations. He commentates for cricket. So, like, this is what he does for a living, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so usually, like, if you watch soccer, like, there's an announcer that does all the play-by-play or, like, little tidbits, and then there's an expert who jumps in, and that was you.
That was me, yeah. So there was a very clear-cut distinction there. So I didn't have to do like, oh, this guy's from this country, that country. He's number 23rd in the world. He had a head-to-head 4 versus 2. You know, all this stuff, right? So he would do that. It's like, all right, let's see the matches going. These guys are entering, gripping, and, what do you think, Shintaro? And it's like, oh, this guy's a lefty. He's a righty. He's fighting for dominant grip on the collar hand.
Right.
Maybe he has a weak side. Oh, he goes for a kataguruma, that kind of stuff. And it was awesome. It was really, really fun.
So it's more like a... apprenticeship. You're already there, like you did a little bit, and so I mean, they hired you because they saw your stuff. Well, you've been doing that anyway.
So much of my stuff on YouTube is available, like me commentating on judo matches. Yeah, it's out there, right?
I know. You commented on mine. Maybe that was in your file.
Maybe, who knows? So that was amazing. But really, what blew me away was the professionalism of the whole organization. Yeah. And call me corporate man or whatever you want to call me, but man, I know. I'll tell you how it is.
Some people, maybe we'll kind of address that controversy, or what do you even call that? Like, some people I know that when you uploaded that video about in your hotel room. Some people are kind of upset. They're like, oh, are you one of the stooges of the IJF now? But that's So like, what did you feel? Like, what impressed you most? What surprised you about the whole, organization? Like, I think we should talk more about the backroom stuff, like this administrator stuff, the organizational stuff. Yeah.
So the first thing that really kind of blew me away was like the segregation between the staff and the athletes. Like, it was totally separate. Yeah. And I've only been on the other side of the tatami, right? And they have all the proper credentials, and they're very, very strict about security and all this stuff. Yeah. So it's not like, you go to a local tournament, you could walk anywhere. You could go anywhere. Yeah. It's not like that at all. The athletes have the athlete section, right? The warm-up area, and then the competition area. That's it. There's limited access. And even for them to get to the warm-up area to the competition area, they need to be escorted there. Right? And then they go through the proper channels, the people who are checking the judogi control to make sure the measurements are proper. There's an escort with like a little kid holding your personal belongings. There's one coach is allowed. The whole thing, everything. Super professional. So we rarely ever get to like hang out and bullshit with them because we're on the other side of that, right? There's the staff section.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even on the staff side, it's like every single person being, there is being paid. They're full staff members. Professional. Everyone's wearing a suit. You know what I mean? There was one dude's like, talking to one of the higher ups, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, where's your tie? Like, it's in my pocket. Then the guy's like, well, then why won't you wear it? Put it on, And I was like, okay,
I like
very,
that.
Very strict, professional. I was wearing a suit, And you're not really intermingling with the athletes at all. Right, we're all there for a different thing. We're all there for as staff, moving this event forward. It's like 100 staff members, dude.
Yeah, they probably don't want any appearance of, bias or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure like some of the stuff I'm gonna say like on the back end, like I hope it's okay. If you guys don't see me at a World Tour event, this it probably wasn't okay for me to say it. Yeah. But they had 3 hotels, different hotels.
Yeah.
Booked for the athletes, for the staff, and they have the C-level execs and the VIPs. Right?
Oh, so it's separate buildings, like different hotels.
Separate hotels, completely separate hotels. And even like, I remember in Georgia, I saw Yoshida. Hidehiko Yoshida, the fighter,
legend.
right?
Yeah.
And he was sitting in the VIP section. There's a special VIP section with food, catered, drinks, everything, right? And they're just sitting there, you know, and it's just him and a bunch of Japanese dudes.
Man, Yoshida came to watch? That's amazing.
Yeah, he was just like watching Judo there, you know? And he probably stayed at the VIP hotel.
Right. He was,
you know what I mean?
But he was he wasn't part of the staff. He was part of the spectators, right? He was on the spectators.
Yeah, no, he was definitely not working there.
Yeah.
He was there, you know, on his own time, hanging out and stuff and watching Judo.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool to see that too, right? So there's no commingling at all.
I see. I see.
I thought I was going to see the athletes, talk to the athletes, hang out with the athletes, see Colton.
You know some of them too, right? You know,
I thought I was going to, but man, it's like, to get to the warm-up area was kind of a hike, and then the hotel's 40 minutes away. So, like, I didn't hang out with the athletes once.
Yeah. So, this professionalism, well, obviously, it's clear that we're big fans of this. You know, we don't want, you know, we've been to these local tournaments, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, it's tough I'm saying it's a lot of work to run a local tournament with limited funds, but, you know, it's great to see at the international level that people are, the IJF is putting up like an actual professional show.
Yeah,
the competition.
It really is.
Yeah, so, but, you know, people may have some, like, legitimate or not, you know, some criticisms about this. It's like too much money, like, well, it's, you know, maybe they want more like the gritty stuff. I don't know, but what do you say to that? Like, are you a mouthpiece now? Like, what's going on?
I mean, you know, I could be bought. I'm not gonna lie, right? There's always a price. You know, if someone wanted me on CNN to be a diehard leftist, spewing leftist rhetoric, like, there's a price for that. You know what I mean? But the price, you know, it's not like huge money for the staff. It's not like a job where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be wealthy so you could buy my opinion. It's not really like that. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for the love of the sport. Being there was amazing. And the number one thing that I liked being there was to be able to watch high-level Judo, being so close to it, and spending all day watching Judo, talking about Judo. Yeah. You know, so that was like the number one thing that I got from it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, of course you're getting paid, but you're like, now
it's not
you're
enough
giving, you're giving back to the community. Yeah, like it's
truthfully, man, I lose money going on these trips because it's like, all right, if I could do 5 privates in a week, 10 privates in a week, you know what I mean? I'm not doing private lessons when I'm over there.
Yeah.
You know, I could be doing, you know, think about it. Like, if I have 1 week where it's like, all right, I'm going to try to make as much money as I possibly can, you know, cranking out privates and do 2 seminars over the weekend, that's way more money.
Right.
So, you know, the amount of money really isn't affecting my, you know, decision on this. And, you know, that may come off crass and whatever it is. But, you know, it really is not enough for me to buy my opinion.
There's like there's full-time staff members who get paid, you know, like to do this full-time. But you weren't, like, your deal wasn't like a full-time gig. Right?
I mean, it's definitely not a full-time. I'm not working right now.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. But yeah, and also I think just to kind of address these controversies, so to speak.
I could definitely see that.
We had I don't think we really changed our opinions on the IJF or the rule changes, the leg grab ban, whatever.
I changed my mind on a few things when I was
okay, that's interesting. Well, I want to just make clear that, like, we have very nuanced views about these rule changes, right? Like, we recognize that it is limiting Judo, but at the same time it does have some benefits, and, you know, it's like a politics, right? Like, you have to balance, like, pros and cons. What do we do, you know?
I think it's mostly benefits, you know, and whatever I saw behind closed scenes, it's not like some, like, group of 4 or 5 dudes like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. No, man, it's like is symposium the right word? It's like they're all sitting there discussing. There's committees. Everything is professional development. Even like the referees, you know, like, I couldn't believe the attitude and the professional development that the referees had to go through, you know, on the regular. I was invited to one of those things. Funny story, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, you kind of mentioned that you said you were going to go to one of those.
Yes. In so video. If you're a top 20 referee in the world, okay, you are not just like, oh, this is a score, that's a score. You have a very, very nuanced understanding of the rules where you're interpreting it and you're looking at the rule book. You know the book from front to end. You know what I mean? And they're going, you know, from the competition before, play by play, frame by frame for anything that was controversial, referencing the rule book. They're like lawyers. They're literally like lawyers, right? There's like a legal handbook, and they reference the article, section, whatever it was, this, and this is what it says. This can be interpreted as that or this. It's unclear, so what do you guys think about this? Why would he score this way? What do you think of that? How does this reference all these different things? It was like it felt like it really was. Yeah. It was like a high court situation. They're there for 3 to 4 hours. Every tournament they do this. And this is not the core of their continuing education. And just being there for one of them and how seriously that they took it, right? And I initially thought it was going to be some like, we're just going to sit around and bullshit. Not even close, dude. Yeah. Not even close. And I kind of went in with like the attitude of like, I had a rash guard on and stuff. And they were like, what is this? You're wearing rash guard, you stupid man. And then I like ran onto the mat. And then they were like, what are you not about? What's the freaking matter with you? And I was like, oh shit, like this is a formal thing. This is formal. You know what I mean? So and it was like a whole ordeal, and I was really impressed with the depth of knowledge. Yeah. How much judo that they know, how much judo that they could actually show even in the rep, because we're all wearing gis.
Right. Oh, like and they're demonstrating kind of going through the scenarios.
Yes, going through the scenarios, talking about it, discussing it, referencing previous things. Like in law, discuss like the outcome of it, why it was that way, if that was the outcome, like how does this apply? I was like, man, this is amazing, And that's just the subsection of that one referee thing that I was into. Yeah. You know what I mean? And these things, after every quad, they change new rules. They look at the overall vision of judo, and then they always reference back why we're doing these things. Right? Safety of the athletes, future of judo. And then when I was able to talk to all the staff members, especially the high-level staff members, I was able to understand all the different things, all the questions that I may have had as a consumer, just watching and reading everything on Reddit, right? Because I lurk on the judo Reddit. I read it. I don't write, but I'm always there reading about the stuff, and I understand the criticisms. I read the comments on YouTube. Yeah. All that stuff is clear to me now. It's crystal clear.
I see. Well, once you saw how it's done in the back end side of things, right?
Like, I'll give you another one, right? So like Korean Seinagi ban. Leg grab ban, all these danger stuff, wrapping around the hands around the body, head diving. Oh, they're killing the sport. They're saying, all these people who are watching it, right? Are they really killing the sport?
Yeah, I mean that's just
maybe the martial art, right? Yeah, but the sport side of it needs that for growth, right? Needs it.
I mean that's the nuanced view. I mean I know like. Yeah, there's some comments on your previous episode, episode from the hotel room. Like people are like, "Oh my God, he's a sellout, whatever." But I think that's the thing. You have to understand that there are pros and cons, and then it's politics. It's all about. I don't necessarily think politics is a bad thing. Everything is political in a sense. It's like we have limited resources. And we have to allocate it in such a way that it benefits most of us, right? And for the IJF, they are, first and foremost, they need to promote the sport of judo with the IOC and then there are a lot of these competing interests, like the athletes, the staff, the governing organizations, the IOC. And then of course, you have to compromise and then make decisions, and then these bans are the product of that. And then, is it perfect? Of course not. Like people aren't unhappy. I mean, those are legitimate criticisms, but at the same time, you can't deny the fact that judo as a sport is going the right way with these changes.
Man. You watch these things, and one of the things, Robin, he like runs fighting films with his brother. It's like a family thing, and they have, you guys seen the fighting films. Forever, right? It's a family ordeal, and they're huge in the Instagram side for Judo TV, all this stuff. And he said something interesting. I was like, we were having a discussion about like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys showing heel hooks and knees getting ripped out and shoulders getting blown out. Why like people want to see that stuff too? Like people get injured in judo. Yeah. Right? And there was a lot of injuries at these events too. Yeah.
Judo is dangerous.
Judo's dangerous.
Even now. Yeah.
But the way they show judo is completely not dangerous, you know? And I'm not saying that as a criticism. And I was like, why? Why not show that guy who just destroyed their knee? And then people are going to engage. Wow, these guys are true athletes, thoroughbreds. That guy dislocated his arm, but he still stepped off the mat. Everyone's clapping. It's amazing. Why not show that, you know?
Yeah.
And then somebody, well, Jack and these guys said, Jiu-Jitsu might do that for short-term engagement, short-term gain on views, right? But do you think that's really good for Judo or Jiu-Jitsu down the line? What's going to happen when these guys done and they have their kids watching the stuff online and they're going to decide between soccer, tennis, Judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Right.
Which sport do you think they'll put their kid in if all they see is knees getting torn out, guys landing on their heads?
Right.
Right?
Soccer. Golf.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So even with blood, when they drip blood from their nose, they immediately stop it, camera goes away, they take him off the ground, clean him up. Second time, they wrap it.
Right.
So and then the blood goes on the gi, they immediately wash it or give him a new gi. Because they don't want to see like guys getting their arms ripped off, bleeding all over the place. And Judo can be pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But the moment something like that happens, the camera pans away. All right, let's go to mat number 2. Let's see what the action's like there. You know, and it's not like we're not hiding, you know, that danger of Judo, but they're doing it with a very long-term vision, right? Because Judo is supposed to be an education. It's a sport. We're not trying to like maim kids and like bang guys up and then do this thing. It is a gladiator sport, but it's also an education. There's a cultural side, like a cultural martial arts side, and then the sport fighting side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're treading this fine line in between with long-term Judo growth in mind.
Yeah. I mean, that
do you think Jiu-Jitsu 20 years from now is going to be bigger than it is now? Or do you think everybody right now who's in their 20s doing Jiu-Jitsu continues and everyone's 40 and all those guys are not going to put their kids in it because it's just such like a
gruesome sport?
And it's not even that gruesome.
What? I don't know. I mean, you're asking if they're going to continue in 20 years.
I mean, like, what's going to happen when every person, every parent who has the decision, right, to put their kid in Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, or some other sport, and they're watching it online on Instagram, and a guy's ripping the heel hooks, and they're going like this, and they're wearing the Speedos, what parent is going to want to put their kid into that program?
I mean, I think it kind of happened with boxing, no?
Yeah.
Again, it's like,
you know,
it's not integrated in the school system. It's too dangerous.
And then everyone's rhetoric now in the United States is Judo is dying, Judo is dying. Yes, it's dying in the United States. There's 12,000 members in U.S. Judo. That's it.
Yeah. But
that's it. 12,000 USA Judo members. That's it.
But it's completely opposite around the world.
Well, so there was a delegate from Japan that I got pretty close with, you know, because I'm Japanese and I speak Japanese, right?
Yeah.
So we're like shooting the shit, and he goes, I was like, yo, is membership like down? Or they go, we have 2 million registered members doing Judo in Japan.
Yeah.
It's not down. And then I'm talking to a delegate from France. It's like, you know, it fluctuates 800,000 to 1 million.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay. So when Saito was fighting Teddy Riner, there's essentially 3 million eyeballs. Okay? Yeah. Because these guys aren't like white belts doing an after school program, doing Judo in high school. These are registered members in the federation. Those guys,
like serious people. Yeah.
I wouldn't say serious, but they belong to an organization. They join a dojo, they have the membership, etc., etc. So there's 3 million potential people caring about this match just between the two countries.
Right.
You know, and then you watch like Tashkent and Dushanbe, and you know they're saying like in Dushanbe there's not an empty seat in the entire building.
Right.
You know, when the matches are happening.
Yeah.
You know? And when you're watching the stream, you're watching the prelims from the day, right?
Yeah.
So if it's on a Thursday, you know, at like 11 o'clock, people are working. They're not going to come watch this thing.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the numbers, it's really thriving.
Like on Judo TV side, like the replays and all the products. Yeah.
I mean, like the back-end numbers. You know, how many people are watching it. Yeah. Russian countries are watching it like crazy. And they're getting a lot of their money from TV broadcasting deals and licensing rights. Because if you're in Georgia, you care about Judo, and they are exporting judokas left and right to Mongolia, UAE, Spain. Iliadis is another one that fought for Greece. These guys all come from Georgia, the country.
Yeah.
You know, with a couple million people living in the thing.
Yeah.
You know, so then all of a sudden, Judo is this massive thing in Georgia. They're going to freaking put the thing on TV and put it on the news, and there's licensing deals to be had, and the governing country has to pay for the event. Right? They have to host it. They have to give money to the IJF. They have to have local sponsors.
Yeah.
Right? So there's enough sponsors to like corporate sponsors to bring money in to run these events in the first place.
Right.
You know? And it's very easy for any corporation to put their name on this thing because it's not bloody, it's not gory, right?
Yeah.
There's a you know, upright like citizens thing about right? It's a true clean martial art.
I see.
know?
So it's like as opposed to some like underground MMA events. So to speak.
Yeah. So what companies don't want to put their name on that?
Yeah.
They could consistently put their name and associate themselves with a premium sporting thing.
An Olympic sport.
An Olympic sport. And, you know, I was talking to a lot of these guys, the different levels of Olympic sports, and Judo is tier 2 now. So they kept going up from like...
Tier 1's like swimming, track...
Tier 1's are the ones that like, running, swimming, jumping.
All the like the stuff that people know.
The stuff that is never going to go away is because they're top performing sports from a spectator standpoint.
Right.
Everybody watches track.
But Judo is moving up. You know, a lot of people don't know when wrestling... wrestling got dropped. It was like probation, and then they had to fight their way back into it. Around that time, Judo was also in danger of being dropped, and that's when all these drastic rule changes happened. To keep it up. I mean, a lot of people don't know. That's a huge part of the context of why the leg grab ban happened. And then initially, it wasn't an outright ban. Remember, you could do it as a counter. But they probably did all these sessions with the referees and say, oh, man, that's way too fuzzy. Let's just ban it outright just to make it easier to referee.
And you know, you missed the old school big lifting leg grab stuff. Yes. But for every one of those, there's like 10 sloppy leg dives. And I think I said this in the previous like heart-to-heart Tbilisi one. But like, me too, man. I wrestled in college, dude. And the only times I was shooting on a leg is to get out of a bad position. How many times have I scored from a leg grab? Freaking 1% of the time. Really?
I wrestled too in high school. So when I started Judo, I did a lot of single leg, high crotch too. But it wasn't really to throw. I did like fireman's carry as a last resort. But
So it's like, it's one of those things. You know what I mean? And the criticism like, oh, this is not good for the street. It's not good. They don't care about the streets. IJF doesn't care about the streets.
What is even the mythical street? What is that even?
As a martial arts, it's a different thing. This is sport judo. This is like for the sport. This is an Olympic sport. The IOC doesn't care about whether it's a martial arts thing or a self-defense thing or the rule sets. Oh, you giving up your back, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Even Newaza too. Like the criticism of judo's Newaza is dying. Yes, it is dying. It's just not the same as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because you have unlimited time on the ground in Jiu-Jitsu. In Judo, you spend what 5% of the time on the ground. Like it's very, very minimal. If you look at the breakdown of how many out of a 4-minute match, how long are you standing versus how long are you on the ground, and then Jiu-Jitsu's reverse. How long are you on your feet? How long are you on the ground? Majority of the matches, 95% of the time, it's on the ground, and guess what? It's freaking boring to 99.9% of the world.
I mean, that's why nogi grappling is more popular now.
It's more popular, because it's hard for people to get held down.
There's action.
There's action. There's movement. You know.
So and then you have to understand. There's no again. I hate it when people become like all conspiracy. It's like there's so many eyes on this sport that there's no like a cabal of like shadowy figures hell-bent to destroy the sport of judo. It's all professionals doing their jobs and then reaching this conclusion. Of course, it's not going to make everyone happy.
No, and you know what? When we go to these events, like you hear great ideas. For instance, where we're sitting on the staff side, we're facing the mat this way, and behind the opposite side of the staff is the VIP section and then the athlete section or whatever it is, right? So when you're watching the camera go in this direction, the VIP section's all segregated, like empty in the middle because they're not there during the day. They're showing up for the final block. You know? So one of these guys, I think it was Jack, who also works for Fight Him, was like, yo, let's take everybody in the stadium right now. During the day, let's fill this section because there's tons of people in the stadium. At least make it look like it's actually a sporting event. It's like, oh no, but you know, so like these little ideas that can make a huge difference. You know, there's ideas here, ideas there. Whether they take that idea or not, maybe they move the VIP section to the staff side. I don't really know. Maybe they do this. Maybe I've only been to 2 events recently in the recent last 10 years, right? But even like the signage, you know, the prize money, all of it, and then everyone asks, oh, how much are the winners making? 5,000 euros. Oh, that's not that much. Yes, it's not that much. But consider that there's 700 athletes there, right? 95% of them being paid full-time salary. They're professional athletes already.
Right, from their own countries.
And their countries paying for it. There's a winning stipend for whatever it is. They have private sponsors, all this stuff. And on top of that, they're getting 5Gs. You know what I mean? And then they have these like special cards, like debit cards for the athletes, right? So the winners who are consistently get one of those cards, and they just deposit the money onto the thing, and it's a very professional thing, and all that, man. It's like everything about it. I was like, wow, this is like, these guys are true professional athletes. They're coming off the thing. They're getting interviewed. There's cameras. Their kids going nuts. You know, even like me, dude, walking around in Georgian thing in the stadium, Shintaro, Shintaro. These little kids are yelling.
Wow, that must have been great.
Yeah. You know, so you can kind of feel a little bit like a superstar.
Yeah.
You know, even me. You know, but like
you're a legit influencer.
But the infrastructure that's in place. Yeah. Right. The stadium, the staffing, the continuing education, the money flow, all of this. You know, like event to event to event. Yeah. You know, across the board, consistent protocols, systems. Yeah. It really was fantastic to see. You know what I mean? And yes, there's other criticism too. Like, you can't just pick a hotel and stay there and then compete in the thing.
No.
IJF
was it ever? Back in the day?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember like when I went to like Grand Slam in Brazil, Rio Grand Slam. I fought in that, right? Yeah. I remember some of the U.S. team members were able to stay in their own hotel much cheaper, like 2 miles from the venue or whatever it was. Now you can't do that. You can't do that now, right? IJF books the room and they sell those rooms to U.S. Judo. How many rooms you need? Yeah. And then USA Judo has to pay for it up front, right? But there's a huge margin that they charge. Right. And that's a good thing because it's bringing money up to the thing and then money filters down. They could hire their staff. Yeah. You know what I mean? People bitch and moan like judo should be free in every dojo, all this stuff. Membership should be $40 a month. Okay. But the head instructor is fucking working at Dunkin' Donuts during the day, whatever it is, and he has a full-blown career. He teaches 2 classes at night. The bathrooms are never clean. You're sharing space at the YMCA, whatever it is. If you want nice facilities, professional judoka teachers, they need to get paid properly. Yeah. Judo can't be free. That's why I've been saying this nonstop. It's my #1 message.
I mean, yeah, it's just like if you
guys, please go to higashibrand.com.
You get what you pay for, and here's the thing with the whole dichotomy between martial arts and the sport of judo. Yeah, I don't think it has to be black and white like that. Like it's not a competing thing. If the sports side succeeds, then you'll have more resources to explore the martial arts side of things.
Yeah, and they kind of like growing together in a parallel way. You know? And
synergetic way.
It's very synergistic. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of it was really amazing, you know, just being a part of that. You know what I mean? And I'm very entrepreneurial and also maverick at the same time, as you can imagine. That's possibly why I'm so unemployable in most cases. You know what I mean? But I felt like I was there and I was like, this is a big freaking thing. It's a movement and I want to be a part of it. Right. People always say, I want to be part of something bigger. Yeah. You know? And I get to kind of be the face and voice of that. Maybe, you know, if they'll have me back. I haven't got that call yet, but like, you know what I mean? Like it was amazing, man. It really was amazing. And then being in Antalya, I was able to see Teddy Renier.
Oh man, how big is he?
He's a big boy, dude. He's a big boy.
He's not a boy. He's a man. He's a bear. Yeah.
Almost I saw Saito and Renier fighting.
Saito is a big guy too, right?
Yeah.
But Renier towers over that guy. Like, I couldn't believe the height difference, man.
I think Tushishvili is going to beat Renier in the Olympics.
Okay. Bold prediction.
Yeah, I think so.
Now it's experience versus...
Tushishvili is just a style, I think, has the right style for it, you know? Yeah. But, man, I'm telling you, man, like, watching high-level judo, in that context was amazing because I have to watch every single match that comes across the screen and talk about it.
Yeah.
And before, I'll go to Judo TV and I'll pick 1 or 2 matches. I'll watch a highlight reel and that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm really only watching maybe 10, 15 minutes of Judo.
Yeah, yeah.
Every month or so.
Yeah.
I'm not really consuming it that much. And I
Right,
see
right.
the highlight reels. I follow Judo TV on Instagram.
Yeah.
All the stuff, right? And it's coming across my feed, but it's a snapshot of a guy slamming somebody.
Yeah.
But you take out the context of this thing.
Right.
You know? And then I'm forced now to watch the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
Right?
You're
And
paid
then
to do that.
Oh, yeah. That. And it became so interesting to me, too. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about this in my previous episode, but did I talk about Klimkate?
I can't remember now. But
So
yeah,
the
from
number 1
Canada,
and 2 in the world.
Yeah. Klinkate and
Deguchi.
Deguchi.
And they're
Yeah.
both competing for the Olympic spot. I think Deguchi got it.
Yeah.
But Klimkate is a drop and flop style judo. Tons of drops.
Yeah.
Normally, I would never watch that. I just don't like watching that style of judo.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're spamming drop attacks, and it was like, why?
Right.
And then you just kept catching them late on the match. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the person's tired. Oh, the guy got frustrated. Oh, he just
Yeah.
caught him with a drop.
Yeah.
Not interesting at all,
Uh,
usually.
yeah.
And I'm watching this woman go from match to match to match, and I'm watching every single drop that she does. And then
Yeah.
not only is she just dropping, but she's adjusting every time. She's doing a drop, seeing how the girl
She's
reacts.
like learning how the
Yeah.
opponent reacts to
Yeah.
her drop attack.
So it's like a drop Senagi straight, 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
Which way does the girl step?
Yeah.
Around to the right side? So now the turn's too shallow, right?
Yeah.
So next she's overshooting it and going maybe, 220-degree turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost catches her, right?
Yeah.
Spamming another drop or two. The other girl gets a penalty, right? She spammed like all these different like right-sided drop and rotate turns 4 or 5 times, adjusting the angle every single time and filtering them in. They get another penalty, and now all of a sudden she drops to the left. Whoa, okay, right?
Okay.
Not that crazy yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pressuring forward,
Right.
forward. Then she fakes and goes coaching and goes back. Okay, not that crazy. And then she just drops again, and there's like a minute left. And all of a sudden, she like nails it. Like drops right in between the girl and launches her over.
Yeah.
Wow, you know what I mean? But
I get that.
I
yeah.
would have never
Yeah, like you would
paid
never.
attention enough.
Yeah.
First 2 drops, I would have like, all right, I'm not watching this. Right? So seeing that, her do that match after match and having the gas tank to do that,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is a lot more strategical than I thought. You know?
You know, that's so hearing all this makes me think like I can't help but I cannot not compare judo where the judo as a sport is going to how other like popular individual sports like golf or tennis. And we mentioned that I think this tour model you mentioned that it's kind of like the tennis or the golf.
Yeah, I think they modeled
right?
it under from tennis.
So if you watch, I think tennis is more dynamic, so it's a little different. But like golf, people say, oh, it's boring and yada, yada, yada. But then I think once you start watching it and follow a player, because golf, even professionals make a lot of mistakes, and it's about how to like recover a lot of times. And if you just watch the highlights, you just see them like just holding at every shot, right? But that's not how golf is played. Actually, it's more about how to recover from mistakes. And then I think that's kind of, I wonder how judo can like play up this aspect and then kind of become like as popular as golf. I don't know if that's even possible, but it's like
with the proper commentators, it can happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the current commentary team is not proper, right?
Yeah.
But like getting that message across
Right.
to the audience who are watching judo actively, event after event.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. And before I wasn't aware of like the preliminary commentated I mean, I knew it existed, but never really watched it because when it's live, it's a different time zone. You know, so it's like, oh, the live feed starts at midnight. I'm going to go to sleep. I forget about it. I watch the highlight reel and I'm content. You know? Oh, shoot, Abe won everything. Let me go watch all his matches and then go back and watch.
That's kind of how I usually do it too,
Most people do that, right?
Yeah.
But if you want, expert opinion and nuanced feedback, or not feedback, but like commentary on this thing.
Yeah.
Now this thing is being provided, and I think they're really trying to push judotv.com. So much so that they're giving out a discount code Shintaro for my audience. It's a good, nice percentage. And then so you go do something like this, and they're really trying to build a forward-facing, like consumer-facing product as like a watchable thing. They have it in Japanese, Russian.
Right. I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, this is very impressive. All these different languages. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
go
ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, like, it's like a comparative sports analytics in a way, because I love watching other sports, and other, like, I watch a lot of soccer. I watch golf. I don't really watch tennis, but all these sports, the problem is that the sporting organization, the main organization, the Premier League or the PGA Tour, they don't actually own all the rights of the broadcasting rights.
Yeah.
So it's like a piecemeal solution, like for example, Masters at Augusta, like they have their own streaming service.
Yeah.
But like for other tournaments, you have to catch on CBS or like whatever. It's hard. But Judo is in a very unique position where the IJF has its own streaming, where it streams everything. I mean, that kind of product doesn't really exist in other sports.
But they're giving broadcasting rights too, because next to us, there was the local Tbilisi commentator thing. So there was a TV team from that country's ESPN or whatever it is. And they had their own guys, and that was a broadcasting.
Yeah, so having those coexisted, I don't think any other sport, like popular, legitimate sports, does that. Like the Premier League certainly doesn't. Only the individual, like the local broadcasting companies have the rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Judo has it both, and I think that's amazing.
And I think they're doing everything to kind of push forward this like Judo for the future idea.
Yeah.
And that's why the rule changes happen. 3 penalties and you're out. 1 penalty, 2 penalty, 3 penalty. Why did they get a penalty? Oh, he's not supposed to dive his head on the floor because he break his neck. Oh, he stepped out of bounds. He's not attacking, right? Simple.
It's not. They're not arbitrary. You like
no.
like Shintaro's mentioned. These professionals who this their job, they go and like do like a whole like high court situation, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Call me corporate man all you want.
Sell out.
But no, seriously, you go ahead, guys. Log on to judotv.com, right?
Yeah.
Use discount code Shintaro, get the premium service. Go back to don't watch my Tbilisi commentary. You can. But I was very, like, in the beginning, I was very gun-shy about saying certain things.
Yeah.
Antalya is where, like, I got a little bit better, right? And then I wasn't saying things like, oh, my God, and Jesus Christ. And everyone's like, don't say that. Don't say that. You can't say that, Everyone has a different God. What's the matter with you?
Oh, okay. Oh, these are like little things you have to consider.
Because all of this, don't say shit. Don't say shit. Don't say stupid or the other R word, or don't say this word, that word. And I had like a list in my mind. I was like, don't say those things.
Yeah.
And then Sheldon pointed out that I say, oh, that's a nice move. Nice this, nice that, nice. And he's like, stop saying nice so much, dude. I was like, eh. So I put nice with like a little circle and an X over it.
Yeah.
But then I just kept going around. Someone gets smoked, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then Sheldon, they pull it up, and you're like, bro, stop it! You're gonna get us both canned. Like, stop.
Yeah.
But so I got a little bit better. So Antalya, you could go back and watch the commentary.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're listening, check it out. It's really good. And then you guys can give me some feedback, because I spent about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I did this, just fielding feedback from everybody. You know? And some people were very nice about it. And even on the IJF, I literally went through each of the staff. I was like, what did you guys think? And can you just give me a couple of tidbits? And then even some dudes were like, you kind of sound like you don't know the rules. So one guy said that to me, I was like, I don't really know the rules that well because I competed 10 years ago.
Right.
And he goes, well, maybe you should learn. And I was like, you know what? That's good feedback. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And then that's what led me to like, go to the referee thing, study the rules.
Yeah.
So now I have a much better understanding of it, obviously.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, if you guys go back and watch it, give me feedback.
Give us some feedback.
And, all of it,
Yeah, I think that was a good debrief, I should say. I mean, I mean, maybe people want to know like how the hotel was or whatnot, but I think
Look,
it's more.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
Food was amazing.
Oh yeah, food was amazing.
By the way, like everything on the staff is catered.
Oh, okay, you don't gotta do nothing.
Georgia, like I'm telling you, man, we go, and then even for the staff, it's like, all right, the commentary team has van number 4,
Yeah.
and then you're on a text chain, and then you could tell, hey, can you, pick me up from this place?
Yeah.
I need a car for service from that. Shuttle you back and forth. Every meal is taken care of. You go down to the hotel lobby, and the thing is catered, and you have a buffet style thing, and then all you gotta do is show your credentials, and you eat like kings and queens. Like, man, it was the best.
Nice.
Food is good. Even at the venue, it's like, lunch is ready for the staff. There's like these, staff members that work at the local venue, who like walk around, give you coffees and stuff.
Nice. Did you how much of the that Georgian egg bread? I forget the name in Georgia.
Khachapuri?
Khachapuri. How much of that did you have? That's my favorite, man.
Oh, it's very good. I didn't have that much of it. And then the day after, when the tournament was over, I walked to town. I ate different things. I had kinkali. It's like their version of soup dumplings.
Oh, okay.
You ever have it?
I don't think actually, maybe I have. I think I had it in New York.
I like it better than Chinese soup dumplings.
Xiaolong. Oh, it's better than Xiaolong Bao in your opinion.
I think it's much better because it's more. The wrapping's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's what I remember. Yeah.
And then it's more like meaty and like good ginger, good soup. It was like more like, oh man, I'm gonna get jacked eating this. The Chinese one, I'm like, I don't know what I'm eating.
It's
what kind
smaller,
of meat's in
I
this?
guess. Yeah.
Like. But the kinkali, man, they told me how to eat it. It's much bigger too. It's like bigger.
Yeah, I see.
You pick it up and you chew it, and then you suck the juices out.
Yeah.
They don't do like a little spoon with the bite and the thing and the mix and the no. It's like you pick it up, bite it, drink the soup, and then you
munch on
eat it.
Yeah.
And then
I
was like, all right. As I was eating, I was like, all right, this is a good 10 grams of protein in one of them. I had like 6 of them. I'm like, I walked off like, all right, 60 grams.
Yeah.
Like it was delicious. I feel good. This hydration. Like I was like, all right.
Oh,
you just eat xiaolong bao. It's like.
Yeah, you gotta eat tons of xiaolong bao to match that. But it's like it's like a hardier option, huh? So.
And they have this weird thing. Like they have this little top part, which is like denser. It's like this little top part, and they go, "Oh, you don't eat that."
Oh, the bun on the bun.
The top, yeah. They go, "You only eat it when food is scarce and you're broke or something." So you don't eat. They're like, "You don't eat it."
It's dry, I guess.
No, I mean it's pretty good. It's like bready.
Yeah.
But they're like, "You don't eat it."
Oh, that's interesting.
And the waiter was like, "Don't eat it." I was like, "All right."
Unless you're poor.
Unless you're broke ass. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, so I think I mainly wanted to talk about this whole.
Yeah.
What the IJF is doing. Like, I just want to dispel this myth or conspiracy that like somehow they're, Kano's gonna roll in his grave or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely growing. I mean, that's impressive that judo is moving up in tiers in the Olympics.
There's more money that way because there's an international Olympic dividend that they pay out to each sporting organization, and that money gets distributed to the different unions. Yeah. Right. Pan American Judo Union, whatever it is, they have more money coming through their system to like run their events, and it's a whole thing, man. And you get 90, 100 nations competing in every single one. India had a pretty impressive team. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Over 1 billion people in India.
Yeah. Imagine India and China becoming like judo powerhouses. China already has, I think, remember there was a bronze medalist a few Olympics ago, but
I love what they're doing with like properness, focus on education, right? Yeah. And they are doing the moral high ground thing. Like if you do judo, it's an education system. Yeah. It's safe. It's not really safe, guys. But it's like it's this whole thing that they're doing, and then it's a clean sport.
Yeah.
That's their number one
thing.
With
a broad appeal. Yeah.
With a broad appeal. And then if there's more money in it, could you imagine, And they did say like not taking Russia's money now because of the sanctions.
Oh, okay.
Even Russia's not, you can't call it Russia. It's AIN.
Yeah.
Atleta Individual Neutral.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's Francais.
Everything's Francais. Whenever you go to the meals, they say bon appetit.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I was like, how many of you guys are French though?
Oh, the French is a lingua franca, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. And they did say like there was a lot of money coming in before, and now they're sanctioned. They cannot,
Right.
But can you imagine, big corporate, maybe not in the U.S. I really don't see U.S. judo growing, truthfully.
I mean, with the it depends, right? Like how it depends on how the organization is run. It's like kind of fractured right now, and it's a topic for another day.
You know what they need? They need a YouTuber to freaking come and fix the organization.
Let's put an influencer in charge. But yeah, so yeah, I really wanted to talk to you about this whole back end side. I mean, Shintaro's been telling me this throughout the trip, and I was just thoroughly impressed. And then I was hoping that you guys will be able to hear this. And again, I just want to say, you don't have to be happy with everything the IJF is doing, but you can't be just like, oh, there's some kind of conspiracy going on. It's like professionals working towards to grow the sport of judo, and then that everything kind of there's no martial arts of judo. The martial arts is not competing against sports. It's like we need both.
We need both.
Yeah.
You guys could go to sleep at night comfortable that there are people out there, 150 people on the staff, just doing this to promote judo, and the goal is to get more people in judo. Judo is not dying on the international stage. It's dying in the United States. But even Keith Bryant, who thought my Asian friend was Peter Yu, by the way. Did I talk about this? Keith Bryant.
Well, you told me about this, but yeah.
So anyway, he was like, oh yeah, the statistics are great. Numbers are growing. We used to have 9,000 members right around COVID time, and before COVID, and then dropped to 4,000, and we're back to 12,000. Great, But I'm like, what about like the 90s and 80s comparatively? You're only giving me
like
a
the 60s or something, right? Like it was.
Overall, yes, short-term gain, yes, but that's what CEOs do. They look at 3 to 5 years. That's it. That's their span, because usually that's the number of average years the CEO stays. You know how it is with the corporations. Your dad was CEO, wasn't
he? He was at some point, Well, so they usually have contract like 3 to 5 year contracts, performance based.
So so like, but 12,000 not enough. 12,000 members.
We gotta be. It's gotta be up in 100, like orders of magnitude bigger.
Dude, they need 100,000 members. USA Judo needs 100,000 members, and then they could 10x their revenue, and they could hire an influencer like me to run the program. What sort of organizational things do you have experience? I have no experience at all.
I don't know. You got an MBA, so we're more qualified than most.
Not running a non-profit organization.
I mean, it's still a business in a way, right?
That's true.
Money in, money out. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're always open to your comments. I almost thought about like replying to you guys when you guys were talking about the whole corporate thing, but I think this is a better avenue. Again, we maintain this type of we've always had a favorable view of the IJF. Even before they approached us, but I think after working with them, our positive view has been even more reinforced, so that's the thing, and we understand that not all rule changes and moves they make are perfect, of course, but I think the important thing is that they are willing to adjust and then modify. We don't want to be static. We always have to adjust, and then with the time, and all right, well, anything else?
No, that's it. Nothing else but the fact that I am a corporate man now.
Yeah. It's a stooge.
That's right.
Of the IJF. Yeah. All right.
Plant. Industry plant.
And I'm a corporate man by association.
Very true.
Look at that. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.